Charles Darwin's Adventures by Renato and Obishi. Davenport, England, the HMS Beagle was under command of Captain Fitzroy. The journey started on December 27th of 1831. The main goal of this expedition was to survey the shores of Chile, Peru, and other islands in the Pacific.
Cape Verde, Cape Verde, Porto Praya. Viewed from the sea, it looked desolate. The volcanic fire past age and the heat of the tropical sun. This place was unfit for vegetation, as Charles Darwin stated. When he came there he came upon hazy atmospheres. As he was a person who walked there for the first time, it was a hazy atmosphere for him. And to a regular person, it would look boring, but to a naturalist such as Charles Darwin, it represented a good study.
Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It was the morning of July 5th, 1832, as Charles Darwin viewed the sea and spotted hundreds of porpoises. There was a bunch of them in one place swimming together in the vast sea. As soon as they entered the mouth of the Plata, unpleasant weather introduced them. On a dark night, they were surrounded by numerous seals and penguins.
Maldonado, Uruguay. The HMS Beagle sailed to the mouth of Rio Negro on the morning of July 24th, 1833, and arrived there on August 3rd. The river they went upon was an important river on the coast between the Strait of Magellan and the Plata. Charles Darwin also said that about 50 years under the Spanish government, a small colony was established here. It is one of the most southern part of the eastern coast of America, which is inhabited by civilized man.
Buenos Aires, Argentina. On the 24th of August, Charles Darwin was left alone to roam the island of Buenos Aires. On his travels, he observed the plain just a few miles from the coast. The ground had leveled by the slow elevation of the land. And there is a picture of how it levels up in the background next to the sunset.
Buenos Aires, Argentina. In these elevated grounds, Charles Darwin found interest in a number of the remains of gigantic land animals. As he gave a brief outline of these findings, he found numerous bones of megatheriums, megalongs, and celidotheriums, which were extinct animals. He found their bones and studied these bones to find that they were very similar and related to the present day animals on Earth, which kind of started off his theory about common ancestry.
And in the background you can see there, that is the megatherium. Port St. Julian, Argentina. Darwin carefully observed the land and its change over time. The land has been raised over thousands of years, and you can see in the picture in the background how it has gone up and the sea level has gone down.
Tierra del Fuego, Argentina. When Charles Darwin came here, he was welcomed by the inhabitants of the islands, which happened to be savages, as not much is really described about this islands and its findings here.
Bay of S. Carlos, Chile. January 15th, they sailed from Los Harbor. 3 days later, they stopped in Chiloé. There they came upon an active volcano.
Valdivia, Chile. On February 20th, Charles Darwin and the members of the HMS Beagle arrived here. As they came here, they were met with an earthquake which affected him and also his members who were in the town more shockingly, as the earthquake also affected the forests and the ocean tides very greatly.
Concepción, Chile. Darwin landed on the island of Quino, something like that. When Darwin arrived, he was told of a story how an earthquake destroyed many village, uh, which happened on the 20th of that month. The land was affected greatly by the earthquake. Darwin observed giant rocks that ended upon the surface. In conclusion, Darwin stated that the earthquake affected the size of the island itself, and you can see in the background those are some ruins of the earthquake over there by the rocks.
Okay, Galapagos Islands, Ecuador. On September 15, Charles Darwin visited the Galapagos Islands, which are all made of volcanic rock. Each island has a climate as they are all under the equator. This um, particular location was one of the greatest findings for Charles Darwin, as Charles Darwin is known for his findings in the Galapagos Islands. He studied about the different islands, how the animals which are present in these different environments have different physical body differences which are suited to their environments, such as the finches, which are types of birds. Charles Darwin studied these finches, which really was a great contributor to his theory of common ancestry and natural selection. As he observed their bodies, he noticed their beaks and how they are different in each island. This showed that this told the people that what he found, the beaks for the different finches, they were all different for the different environments, how they had different food sources in different islands. And so yeah, that kind of contributed to the natural selection part. So, and the common ancestry part, he noticed that on all the birds, they had mostly all really similar physical body. So this kind of told him how these type of birds all shared a common ancestor, and how they shot up from different branches of the tree of life.
And that is a picture of the Galapagos Islands in present day. Tahiti Islands, French Polynesia. To Darwin, this island wasn't attractive, not much vegetation, and peaks were above the clouds. That is a picture of the island itself.
Sydney, Australia. Darwin arrived in the entrance of Port Jackson of Sydney, Australia. Darwin noticed that this city was a great and populous city. He studied the nature around him, the cliff-formed shores, the thin scrubby trees. Later, as Darwin proceeded further inland, he later observed the beautiful villages, villas and cottages. Not much was said about the nature, but mostly about his encounter with people and the villas and cottages.
Cocos Island. On April 1st, they arrived in a view of the Cocos Island. He noted that it was a lagoon island, that the coral formation similar to the low archipelago islands. That is a picture of the island today.
Port Louis, Mauritius. So Charles Darwin doesn't really make much observations of these islands, but he noticed that it was kind of unpleasant to him, wasn't that attractive. And yeah, he kind of described it as rocks rising abruptly like a huge black castle from the ocean, and stuff like that.
Ascension is described as a volcanic island. Darwin mostly talks about how a stranger would imagine this island if they began on a what? I don't know what that is because it's covered by the picture. Island. It is called the Green Hill. The volcano is called the Green Hill, and that is a picture. That volcano did get cut off, but it is that hill in the background.
Falmouth, England. This is kind of where Darwin is from. So on the 2nd of October, Darwin arrived on the shore of England, having spent nearly 5 years on this vessel, traveling and roaming the earth for evidence for his theory of common ancestry and natural selection. This it's been a great thing for Darwin, as it later affected the later future of scientists and what they thought about the nature of this earth and the evolution of animals and this earth. So after he got off and stuff, he gave credit for his members and everybody who ever helped on this voyage. And this concludes his voyage of the HMS Beagle around the world.
Well, this is Renato and Abishay saying goodbye. Bye-bye.
Peace.